Kia ora tātou. My name is Karl Strother and I live in Hamilton, New Zealand, and I work for Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. Te Wānanga o Aotearoa is a tertiary provider. We provide education. We're the second largest tertiary provider in the country, with over 30,000 students, as we call them tauira, and the majority of which are Indigenous Māori. So it's the largest tertiary provider for Māori in the country. My job there is as the Senior Evaluator. So we look at quality improvement, how to improve outcomes for everyone at the Wānanga, but specifically for our people, for our Indigenous people, our Māori people.
Oh, kia ora. Can you tell us a bit about how you do evaluation here at the Wānanga?
One of the main things that we've found when we work with our own people is that it takes a while to get comfortable and to draw the kind of information or the data that we want out of them, because paper-based doesn't seem to work that well for us. So we have to go in, we've got a way that we do all of our evaluations. We go, it's very different. We have to make sure we're there for karakia, which is a gathering together in the morning to say prayers, I guess you could say. We make sure that we're there to be seen, to be involved with these karakia. And then we make sure that we introduce ourselves face to face. It's very important that when we sit down, that we are showing to our students that we are on the same level, that we want to get to know them, where they're from. And so we introduce ourselves first with our what we call pepeha, which is our background of who we are as Māori. And we tell basic things like what our tribe is, what our main ancestors are, and that way we can link together, we can create that connection first. So those are some of the main things before we even get to the evaluation process. But when we evaluate, there's ways that we try and evaluate as Māori that are quite different. For an example, when we were working to evaluate a program which was called Tūtaua, so it's about learning to use weapons, old Māori weapons, but it's also a way to be fit. So that's more the focus there. It's a holistic sort of a wellness program. But one of the ways that they evaluate is by using kohatu mauri, and what that is a stone. It's a stone, but the stone goes from group to group, and with it, it carries all of the experiences and the knowledge of those who have used it before. And so as it's given from group to group, it's a way of evaluating what has happened within the group and how they've improved. And so that's one of the ways that we looked at that, evaluating that particular course, was to look at this way of self-improvement, of self-assessment, which was this stone, this kohatu mauri. And when we do look at our Māori programs and evaluate them, we look for ways which are very Māori, which will be able to draw out the real sort of discussion and kōrero, the discussion that we want.
Kia ora. Tell us a little bit more about the kohatu mauri, like what do they do with the kohatu or the stone?
Yeah, so as I was discussing at the start, when we go to do an evaluation, it's important that we sit down and do the face-to-face and introduce ourselves and all that kind of stuff. That's a part of it. So when they get together as students, they learn the core curriculum, what they need to learn, but at the end of their session or their weekend of learning, this stone is a way for them to discuss what they've learned, to speak to the stone, this kohatu mauri. And as they speak in a group, each one of them seems to take that what everyone else is sharing, and to take that on board more by having this physical medium there to relate to.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Kia ora. Tell us a little bit about Māori evaluation in Aotearoa, New Zealand. What do you think about how we're going in New Zealand as Māori evaluators?
I think it's a good start. There are quite a few Māori evaluators now, which is really good. There's also a push for Māori evaluators to be able to speak their own language as well, which is a very important thing, because the way we talk about it is whakaaro Māori, or the thoughts of how a person thinks when they think in another language, and it's the same for anyone who speaks those other languages, is that there's a way of thinking that aligns easily when we talk with each other, and we're able to easily relate to something. So I think evaluation is off to a really good start. We've got some great international examples and frameworks to work with, but more so now, I think we need to work on very Māori frameworks that align more with whakaaro Māori, or this way of thinking in another language, which is our own. Yeah, but I think it's doing really well.
Oh, kia ora. And do you want to tell us a little bit about the Māori Evaluation Association that you're a part of?
Yeah. The Māori Evaluation Association, or Māterai, which is aligned exactly to what I was talking about, more about how do we improve outcomes for Māori in New Zealand. How do we give them this tool of evaluation and how to improve ourselves? So I think that's one of the drives, or one of the things that drives the Māori Evaluation Association, is how can we build capacity, capability through our Indigenous people here in New Zealand. And we're off to, it's been a good start, quite quickly off the mark, but I think one of the things we need to do is get it right at the start. Are we focused on improving quality of and outcomes for our people? That's one of the main things I think that Māterai, or the Māori Evaluation Association, can help with, and that's the focus for the next few years.
Kia ora. Kia ora, Karl. Thank you.
Kia ora.